Blog Talk Radio.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Roderico, and alongside, normally with me, is my co-host, Legends Tour player and LPGA professional, Cindy Miller, but she is actually down in Orlando this morning at one of her boot camps at the Orange County National Golf Club, and she'll be joining us here in just a second live with some of her juniors on the boot camp this week, and we're going to talk to a few of them a little bit later on in the broadcast. But let me just remind everybody that we are live here on the blogtalkradio.com network. And for those of you just tuning in for the first time, welcome to the show. We're glad that you're able to join us. And just let me tell you a little bit very quickly about the show, and then Cindy's going to join me here, and then we're going to talk a little bit about her junior boot camp that she's doing this week. And as I said a little bit later, some of the juniors that are participating are going to chime in and talk about the boot camp in general, but also why they like working with our very own Cindy Miller. So let me, again, just point out we are live every Tuesday mornings from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the blogtalkradio.com network. Obviously, if you found us, you know how to get there, but for those of you, best ways to tune in, go to blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf, or just type in Women of Golf up in the search key, and that will take you to the main page. You can also listen to us at any time through iTunes.com, Stitcher.com, or now TuneIn.com are some other great media, social media platforms that you can listen to the show as well at any time. If you can't join us live, just tune in at any time and go to the on-demand section on blogtalkradio.com, and you'll see all the archive or previously recorded shows there, so you can check them out there. If you're interested in calling in anytime during our live broadcast, you're welcome to do so. The number is area code 347-945-5855. Or you can reach out to Cindy and I personally at cindy@cindymillergolf.com, or my email is ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. All right, well, good morning, Cindy, and welcome from Orange County National Golf Club in Orlando, Florida.
Well, thank you, Ted. Good morning to you.
It's beautiful weather here, and
they're going to be going by, so I'm going to mute in a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, you run the risk when you're doing a live broadcast from a golf course. You never know who might be traveling by, but not to worry. But as I mentioned earlier, folks, Cindy is working this week on one of her very successful junior boot camps. She's got some great young juniors there that are, as I said, going to call in a little bit in a few moments. But Cindy, we're going to talk first about the boot camps. And let me just ask you, now you also do adult boot camps as well. And I know this is something that you and Alan have done together for many, many years. How long have you guys been doing the boot camps?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Probably 15, 20 years.
Wow.
A long time.
So obviously a lot of experience there in the boot camp.
Years, yes, because our daughter Kelly was graduating from high school in 2000. And I think we did 1999. We started doing camps. Yeah.
So you're in basically about 8 going on 18 years now. That's fantastic. All right, Cindy, let me ask you, for those that may be not familiar with what the boot camp is, just talk a little bit about what the purpose of the boot camp is. Just maybe give us a little idea of what the purpose that you do at the boot camps.
What we try to convey and teach people at the camp is more than just a golf lesson. So people come in for a golf lesson, and it's usually a half hour or an hour, or they buy a package of lessons. But they don't have the opportunity to work on all aspects of their game. So this is a concentrated effort over 4 days of really working on you. So not only your behavior style, what your personality is, but also your mental golf profile, your learning style. So it's really an in-depth, comprehensive program where we work on everything. So we have breakfast every morning, we have team meetings, and then we go out and we work on your game. So right now the kids are working on lag putting and alignment. So we use lasers to help them learn how to see what a straight club face looks like and how to align. You'd be amazed at how many people really don't know how to line up. So if you're not lined up correctly, you're not going to hit the shot or the putt correctly or the chip. So right now we're working on distance control because a few of them three-putted the last couple days.
Right.
So we're going to teach them how to feel and adapt to the speed of the greens, which is something that it's hard to do if you're not in a playing situation. So then we have lunch, and then every afternoon we go out and play 18 holes with them. So each student has, each group has either Alan or myself with them the whole time. So we take notes and see, what are their tendencies on the course? What are they doing? Can they line up? Do they get mad? Do they have an emotional issue? Do they know how to plan a shot? Do they know how to figure out the yardage with the wind and the slope and the terrain and the lie and all that good stuff? So it's very, very comprehensive. There's a lot of golf schools out there, but I don't think there's a lot of golf schools where the pro plays with them every single afternoon. So I think that's what's unique about this. Now, we've got 7 junior golfers here ranging in age from 12 to 16. And these kids vary in abilities. Some of them really want to play at D1 levels. Others would just be happy to make the high school team and compete there. And some want to play D3. So, again, it doesn't really matter as long as you're all willing to work on your game. And it's really kind of fun. So the parents come down, too, and they play in the group either before us or after us. So the kids all have this week off of school. So we've done it this particular week for a long, long time, and it's just a lot of fun. And Orange County is the perfect facility to do it because, they've got the largest driving range in the world, and they've got 2 championship courses, and then they've got a 9-hole shorter course called the Tooth. It has 2 par 4s on it. So the first day we played the Tooth. Yesterday we 18 holes, and today we're going to play the Tooth again. And the Tooth, you have to carry your bag and walk. So the first day we did try to play all together, which was way too many people. But that way they get to watch and see each other. And then today we'll split them up into groups, and Alan will go with one group and I'll go with the other.
Very cool. And I'm pretty confident that even if they weren't off for school, if they had the choice between school and coming down and having some fun on the boot camp, I'm pretty sure the latter would be first in their agenda. So I'm sure you don't have any difficulty in convincing them to come down.
Yeah, you're right. 'Cause all these kids are from Buffalo, and one of the kids talked to her sister last night on the phone. She said, "I'll have fun at school tomorrow," and the other sister's like, "Oh, well, you get to be down in Florida, but you are working." And needless to say, they are getting sunburned and blisters.
Right. All right. Well, let me ask you, Cindy, as I mentioned a few moments ago, you obviously offer both adult and junior boot camps. How do they differ in the approach? Obviously, you're working with different age groups, but is there much difference in the approach and how you handle the boot camps between the 2 distinctive areas?
There really isn't, because everybody's got their own personal goals and missions. So I do a survey before you even get here. Why did you sign up for this? What are you looking for? And the adult boot camp starts Thursday, so I stay down here for like 10 days. We do the kids first, and then we do the adults second. And, it doesn't matter if you shoot 110 or you shoot 72. Everybody wants to get better. And so the women that I've got a bunch of women coming down, and the funny thing is they're not all from Buffalo. We've got a camp in April that I got 2 women that I've never even met. One's from Long Island, one's from Texas. So, again, why are you here? What do you want? And what are you trying to improve? And then we try to find the easiest things that we can do to help them get better.
Right. And I think you've kind of answered this particular question already, but are the boot camps primarily for beginners, or really can they be for any level?
They can be for any level. Now, if you are a beginner, you might not enjoy yourself as much. I mean,
Right.
you might kill you if you're a beginner. You need to have at least some experience playing, and I would like to know that. You know, we ask them, you know, what is your skill level? Because we're doing an awful lot of golf. I mean, an awful lot of golf. So this is not a vacation. This is called boot camp for a
Right.
reason. So total
Right.
beginners,
So
I
it might be
suggest they come. Or
right.
get,
So it
get
might
a
be a
whole
good
group of
idea.
total beginners, and we'll do it for you. You know.
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly.
So
and
I've
probably
had
would be a
people
good
that
idea.
can shoot. Yeah. I've had people that shoot like 65 for 9 holes, so they're not really good players, but they've been on a golf course for a year or two. You follow?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not so
it's
much
probably
their
a good
skill
idea.
level;
Then,
it's how much experience they have.
yeah, and I would probably guess that if you were going to have somebody that is a beginner, you might want to have them in a lesson or two first, just to kind of gauge their knowledge and their abilities before you would recommend them signing up for a boot camp. Would that be correct?
It would be correct. See, there's
Yeah,
so
that's
many
what I thought.
things that when you get out to play, again, with the kids yesterday, golf takes a lot of work. And it's not just physical work. It's mental work.
Right.
Like we played a par 3, and it was 142 downhill, but it's into the wind. And one of the kids got up, and she hit it like 40 yards short of the green. I said, "What'd you just hit?" She goes, "I hit 8-iron." I'm like, she was so mad at the hole before. You know, I'm like, well, I just hit 5 hybrid in the front bunker. You know, so it's playing longer than that. So it's all the thinking that goes into it. It's so difficult. And I don't think people really understand that. When you want to play at a high level, all the things your brain has to know, do, and think about, and then to pull the shot off on purpose. I mean, sometimes we luck out and we hit good shots and we don't know what we're doing. But to be really good, it takes a lot. So we made something up today called MIT. What's the most important thing? And it's not, you know, I have to hit the ball good. If you're working on something in your swing, that's the most important thing.
Mm.
The score doesn't count.
Right.
And we have contests each day. You know, first day was least putts. Yesterday was fairways hit. I'm not sure what we're going to do today, but we'll find something. And the kids are having a ball. And the funny thing is some of these kids have met each other before and played in tournaments, but they never really talked. Well, now they're trapped like rats for 9 and 10 hours a day. So they make great friendships.
And I would imagine they're probably pretty tuckered out by the end of the day after 10 hours.
Yeah.
Which the parents probably the parents probably love that.
Parents are great.
Yeah, the parents
too.
probably.
And again, they make new friends.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. And you know, they're sharing a common goal. I mean, again, as you said, whether they're trying to, you know, get into a D1 or D3 or even just play in a high school team, or maybe they just want to, you know, play in some other competitive format. The idea is they're learning some value lessons in the boot camps, and I think that's great. Now, you talked a little bit about some of the itinerary, but how long? I mean, how long do they have? You know, first thing in the morning, obviously, I imagine you go to the range for a little while and sort of warm up, and then you get into some of the different exercise that you have in the boot camp. And then, as you mentioned, later on in the day, after lunch, you go out on the golf course and start working on some of the things or letting them experience the golf course in general. Is that pretty much how the itinerary goes, or is there anything I'm missing?
Well, today we met for breakfast at 7:30. And that's all at Orange County. And then we're out on the putting green because the putting green is on the way to the range. We have not done chipping and pitching and sand yet, so we're going to do that next after we do the putting. And then we're going to go fix golf swings. And then we'll have lunch, and then we're going to go play. And tonight there's a team dinner, so there's prizes and awards and stuff. And everybody goes to the team dinner. We have a great time, and then I hand out the prizes for most improved and best attitude and closest to the hole maybe, and longest drive and straightest, and how many fairways and least putts and all that stuff.
Yeah, and that's important that they keep track of those stats. And I mean, obviously, I know you and Alan are helping them out with that area, but it's good for them to understand what it is they're doing so that they can then take a look and sort of assess their overall game. And again, you and Alan, of course, help them with that. But that's very important as they mature into their the next level of their game, is that they understand what it is they're doing and what they're not doing correctly. And that gives them a better focus for future play. So I think that's fantastic. Well, Cindy,
yeah,
I don't know if they're ready yet, but
the first day
mm-hmm.
that we said we're going to do least putts, and not one of them added up their putts. They all gave up on themselves. So I had to give them a little lip service.
Yeah.
So nobody wins least putts.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think it's one of these things that I think, especially at a junior age, you're not seeing initially a lot of, in some cases, maybe not seeing a lot of improvement right away. And I think for kids, it's difficult. They want to be able to see, okay, I hit the ball really well, or I putted really well, or what have you. So it's very easy, I'm sure, for them to get discouraged. So this is where, obviously, you have to help motivate them and get them refocused on what they need to do.
Well, here's what happened. I believe they all thought they weren't going to win the putting contest, therefore they gave up on themselves, and that's not allowed.
You might have to be careful,
No.
Cindy. They might organize a coup. They might organize a coup and overthrow you and Alan. So you might want to be.
They wouldn't overthrow Alan, but they would definitely overthrow me. Yes, I can become a
Well,
witch.
It sounds like.
In fact, one of them said, "You are a little scary at times." I don't mean to be. I have a big heart, but yeah, I can scare them.
No doubt. Well, Cindy, if they're ready to start calling in, why don't we have, if we've got one or two of them that are ready to call in, let them to go ahead. I see, actually they have. So I'm going to bring the first one on here. Good morning and welcome to the Women of Golf Show. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with this morning?
Lily.
This is Zoe?
Lily.
Oh, Lily, I'm sorry. It was a little bit of a wind background. Lily, good morning, Lily, and welcome to the show. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Lily, it's a little bit hard to hear you because there's a lot of wind in the background. I don't know if you can hear me, but I wanted to ask you, how has it been so far at the boot camp? How much have you enjoyed it so far?
It's great. I really have enjoyed it. It's so fun getting out with a lot of other junior golf and just the series of the game that we do. It's fun to get out and be able to play with myself. Okay.
I'm getting a little bit of feedback. I'm not sure if she's not close enough to the phone or the mic that she's using. So I didn't hear a lot of that. So Lily, if you wouldn't mind repeating that, I apologize, but I can't. It was very difficult to hear you.
That's okay. I just said that it's really fun to get out with all the other junior golfers that are just as serious.
Ted, can you hear her?
It's still. No, I can't at all. I heard the very first line, and then it just faded right out. I think that for some reason she's not maybe close
when
to
she's talking.
No, I can't at all either. Yeah, I apologize. Let me bring on.
Hello.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry.
Is this Lily?
This is Madeline. I'm on another phone though.
Okay, Madeline. All right. Well, you go ahead, and I'll let you. We'll try and see if we can get Lily back with us as well. But
I told Lily
Madeline,
to call
go ahead
back
and yeah. Okay, that's perfect.
And then I've got Victoria
all right, Madeline,
on the other line as well.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Madeline. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how much you've enjoyed the boot camp so far, and what it's done to help your game?
I've had a great time so far. It's very nice playing with other people my age who really enjoy the sport. And it's really helped my putting specifically. I was a good putter, but now I am much better, and I have a completely different stroke, and that has helped a lot. And my swing overall is looking much better, and I'm scoring much better.
Perfect. Now, Madeline, let me just ask you as well, what are some of the – first off, how old are you, Madeline?
I'm 16, turning 17 later this year.
Okay, so you're one of the more senior juniors at the boot camp this week.
Yes.
What's your long-term goal? What are you hoping to accomplish with your golf game down the road? Are you looking to play professionally, or are you looking just to get into college with it, or what is your long-term goals?
I'd really love to play college golf. That's my biggest goal right now, and maybe we'll see what happens afterwards, but I definitely want to play in college.
Very good. Excellent. Lily, I think we got you back now. Lily, you go ahead and if you wouldn't mind repeating.
Hi, can you hear me now?
I can just hear. Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better now. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to ask you the same question I did, Madeline. If you can just talk about what you enjoy about the boot camp so far and what your long-term goals are.
Just definitely adding on to what Madeline said, it's really enjoyable getting out to play with other kids our age who are just as serious about the game. And it's really nice to see what they're working on, and all of us can kind of work on our own things together and kind of bond over that.
Right. And how old are you, Lily?
I'm 13.
Okay, so you're kind of in the middle of the pack, if you will, of some of the juniors that are there. So let me ask you, and then Madeline, I'm going to get you to jump back in, and then I know we have another young lady as well that I want to get to here on the show. What area, Lily, I'm going to ask you first, and then Madeline, when she's done, I want you to answer from your end. Lily, what's the hardest part that you struggle with in your game that you're getting help with this week? What's the hardest, most difficult area of your game?
I think right now I'm really working on, I pull a lot with my left arm, and it's very throughout the whole, I think, year and a half that I've been working with Cindy. It's been very on and off and coming back and forth. And this week especially, getting out to play on the course again instead of just being inside of the dome, it's really come back. So I think definitely she's just been helping me with trusting and knowing that I can just swing easy and not let my left arm kind of control my swing. So just to trust myself with it and believe that I can get to the ball with the club face first rather than the grip.
Right. Well said. And Madeline, what about you? What area of your game do you struggle most with and have the most difficulty with out in the golf course?
I actually have a very similar problem to Lily in that I have an issue with my wrist coming through before my, getting the club head through before my hands. I have trouble with that. So that's definitely been my biggest problem over the last couple of years. And over the last year and a half, Cindy has helped me immensely with that. And this week it's just gotten into a really good place with my swing. And playing on the course has definitely helped instead of being in the dome as we have been for the past couple months.
Right. Now let me ask, I know we've got somebody else on the line here as well. Who else is here that's joined us? Well, maybe we lost that one. All right, ladies, let me ask you. Okay. I think hers must have got cut off. Yeah, she's going to have to call back in because that one.
No, we just heard her. So, Tori, go ahead and talk.
Well, coming here to boot camp has helped me with actually getting out on the course. And my putting I've struggled with putting over the year, so Alan's helping me out with that. So just getting out on the course has helped me.
Very good. Well, Victoria, let me just ask you, and I'm gonna go back through the line, Victoria, and then Lily, and then Madeline. Victoria, what's the strongest part of your game? What's the best part of your game that you have the least trouble with?
Well, right now it's like my fairway shots and driving.
Very good. Lily, what about you? What's the strongest part of your game?
I'd say definitely, although I'm having some trouble with getting the club head there, definitely when I go out in my play, when I go out on the course and play, my fairway shots are, I'd say, the strongest part of my game. But really, I think it's all more of a work in progress for just developing the perfect swing. But definitely, my fairway shots are pretty strong, I would say.
Very good. Excellent. Madeline, what about you? What's the strongest part of your game that you have the easiest time with of any other part of the game? Madeline, are you still with us?
We can't hear you.
Take Tori's phone. Tori, just give her your phone.
Okay.
Hello?
Hi, Madeline.
Hello? Hi, yes, sorry.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay, that's okay.
Yes, I can.
My question to you was, what's the strongest part of your game? What do you have the easiest time with of any part of your game?
Currently, I'm very good with my short game. I'm very confident with that. I have a net in my basement, which I'm down there almost every day, just chipping for about an hour, trying to keep that up and in a good place. So I'm very confident with my short game.
Very good. Now, let me ask, ladies, I'm going to ask you this, and we'll go with Lily, Victoria, and then Madeline. Lily, let me ask you, as far as your mental side of the game, obviously that's very difficult, but that's very important to make sure that you keep focused and keep inside. Do you struggle with that sometimes? Are there times when you get out there and you hit a bad shot and really get down on yourself? And what do you try to do to pick yourself back up?
One thing so I think that everyone definitely, of course, has the shots that really they do get down on themselves, especially if you're really working on something and you really try your best for a shot and then it doesn't turn out the way you want it. But I think you definitely just have to go out and brush the last shot off and just forget about it and just relax, because I think one definite component that causes bad shots is really being tense and tensing up your body. So I think if you definitely just erase the bad shot from your mind and just relax and swing the club face open and then slap under and just follow through, that it will definitely, you'll see the difference as to your last bad shot. So I think that definitely everyone struggles, no matter what, tour players, juniors, amateurs, whoever it may be. Right. I think that everyone definitely struggles, but you just have to have faith in yourself, and I think, especially when you relax, just to go back in your brain and kind of think about everything that you've learned and the important steps to hitting a good shot, and then just relax and follow through with all those, and you should be good.
That's excellent. What a great answer. Victoria, what about you? If you're still with us here, on the sort of the mental side of the game, obviously we all hit some kind of stinky shots once in a while. What do you do to pick yourself up and get ready for the next shot, even though you've just hit a bad one? What do you try to do to mentally prepare for the next shot?
Well, I tend to struggle with that the most. So what I usually do is just calm myself down, and I usually try not to think about what just happened. And like Lily said, like, have faith in yourself and trust your swing. That's what Alan has been telling us, and Cindy too. So like, just trust your swing.
Right. Well said as well. Madeline, what about you? As I said to the other two, we all hit some bad shots, and it can get us down a little bit. Sometimes we might even play a bad hole. What do you do? What's your go-to, I guess, position when something doesn't go well? How do you get yourself back up and ready to play the next shot?
Well, actually, one of my biggest issues with my swing is the fact that I have trouble relaxing and I tense up too much, and that is especially exemplified when I have a bad hole. So I just try to go back to my swing thoughts and get myself back to a good place mentally, and I find that that helps a lot when you're trying to come back from a bad shot or a bad hole.
Right. Well said. Well, I have to say, Cindy, if you're still listening, I know you're working with some of the juniors there now. What a great group of girls that you've got working there. Very, very professional sounding. We might have some future LPGA Tour players here in the mix. Some great answers here. What do you try to instill with all of the young juniors that you're working with? What's the most important thing that you try to instill in the message that you relay throughout the week?
You know what? I was totally impressed with all their answers, I must tell you. But I believe that what we try to instill for sure is that nothing good comes easy, and everybody starts as a beginner. And try to give yourself a break and forgive yourself for making stupid mistakes, because no one's trying to mess up on purpose, and that we can all learn, and sometimes we have to fail before we win. So that's kind of the big message that we try to convey.
Right, exactly. Now, do you girls, and this is for anybody that wants to chime in, when you girls are out playing, obviously in the afternoon, you do some of the practice and some of the preparation in the morning before lunch, and then Sydney and Alan take you out on the golf course. Do you ladies try to get a little competitive out there, or are you very focused on your own games? Lily, let's start with you, and then Madeline, and then Victoria.
I think that especially when you are so close in age and so close with the people that we're here playing with over the last 3 days, I think it can be fun to challenge yourself and maybe get a little competitive, but I think that it can also be a little bit more beneficial. I mean, me and Madeline played together yesterday. We shared a cart, and I think it was definitely beneficial for the both of us to be able to kind of talk about our shots and, share, like, we both had our lasers with us, share our thoughts on the distance or what club we were using. And although we are definitely at different levels, it can be beneficial and fun to be able to discuss the game with someone that is similar in your age range and similar in your skill level. But it definitely can be fun to be competitive sometimes. But I think that you definitely have to make sure that you're in the right mindset to be competitive, and that when is a good time to be competitive and when is a good time to kind of relax and just play the game.
Right. Well said. Great answer. Madeline, what about you? You had a chance to play with Lily yesterday and on the carts. Do you get a little competitive when you're out there playing in the boot camp, or are you fairly focused on your own game?
I try to be very focused, as I'm a generally decently competitive person, and I find that sometimes that throws me off my game quite a bit if I'm focusing on other scores instead of how I'm playing. So I try to be very relaxed and focused on my own score, because I find that I play better when I'm focused on my bigger issues. And as Lily was saying, yesterday we were helping each other out and having a nice time. We were very relaxed and making jokes and just going out and having a nice round. And I felt very comfortable in that situation. So it was a really nice round.
Right. Very good. And Victoria, what about you lastly? Do you try to get a little competitive out there as well, just to keep things fired up, or are you as well very focused on your own game and not worried so much about your playing partner?
Well, I try not to be competitive with who I'm playing with, but I definitely try to get competitive with myself to try to beat my scores. But I also try to focus on my game, too, and try to get better at what I'm struggling with.
Very good. Well, I gotta tell you, Cindy, I'm very impressed at the work that you and Alan have done at this boot camp. I mean, these ladies are just very, very enthusiastic, very excited about what they do, and just very energetic as well. And I see very prominent futures for all of them, whether they play at the professional level or whether they carry this just in their private lives, I think they're going to have a lot of fun in their future golf with all the hard work that they're doing. So kudos to you and Alan for doing a fantastic job.
Well, they're great kids and they got great parents. There's also 4 other ones that are quietly practicing their leg putting right now on the putting green. They didn't want to talk. But that doesn't mean they don't want to work at their game and kick somebody's butt.
That's right. Well, that's good. Ladies, I just want to ask you one final question. Golf is fast becoming, especially with young junior girls, a really growing sport. And this is something that a lot of young girls within your age group, but even a little bit older, have really grappled to. And I'm going to go through the order again: Lily, Madeline, and then Victoria. So, Lily, I'm going to start with you. Do some of your girlfriends back home that you go to school with and that, do most of them or some of them play golf? And if not, do you feel pretty confident that you can convince them that it's at least worth giving it a try?
I think that golf is definitely, when you think about golf, at least for me, not many people think of it as, the most competitive sport or the most, the most athletic sport. But I think that it definitely really does take a lot out of you and is very mentally and physically draining. So I think that, especially for me, I have one other girlfriend that plays golf, but I really am one of the only ones. So I think that golf can be so fun. It is definitely, the amount of people that just play for fun all throughout their lives, from childhood to adulthood, that it can be so fun, and it's definitely a game that you can play for the rest of your life. So I think that I definitely encourage them to play, and then when they do get out there, they can kind of see, swinging the club, although it doesn't look like a lot, it definitely is draining, physically and mentally. So I think that for everyone, once they do get out there and they do see that it is a little bit more challenging, but it also can be so fun and a very nice, comfortable, not always, but more of a relaxing sport if you're playing at a very comfortable, relaxed level, that it can be so fun. So I think that definitely if you encourage someone to go out and play the game, even if it's just once in a while, that people do eventually enjoy it once they do get out and play.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Madeline, what about you? Have you got some of your girlfriends back home that currently play as well? And if not, do you try your best to try and encourage them to at least come on out to the driving range and, hey, let's give it a try and practice and see if they might take to the game as well?
Yeah, I do actually. When my freshman year, I was on the boys team at school because we didn't have a girls golf team, and actually we still do not. But every year we have gotten at least one new girl, which has always been very exciting, and I always get very close with them because I like the fact that I can have another girl to spend time with who goes to my school and enjoys golf just as much as I do. So it's really nice to have other girls who you play with. And I always try to get my friends to just kind of come out and see what it's about, see what it's like. And although none of them have started playing, they do enjoy watching the sport and playing with me, and they support me, and I really appreciate that.
Perfect. And Victoria, last but not least, do you get an opportunity to try and encourage some of your girlfriends that you go to school with or that maybe you socialize with to at least try to come out for those that maybe don't play? Do you have a few that do play, but maybe some of those that don't? What do you do to try to encourage them to say, hey, come on out and let's go to the Dome or let's go to the range over here and let's do something that we can have fun together at? Do you try to do that, Victoria?
Yeah, and a bunch of people usually think golf kind of boring since it's very quiet, but it's actually fun and relaxing. And so I do try to encourage my friends to come out because they never know what it would feel like.
Yeah. And I think that they have to, realize that it takes time like anything, as you have experienced, ladies, that it takes time to practice to get a little bit better. But there's a lot of fun things that you guys can do together. It makes a great day. You get to spend a few hours out on a golf course or even maybe a little bit of time out on a practice range just to hit some balls. But also, it adds to a whole new level of fashion wardrobe that you can go out and buy some new clothes that you can wear and have some fun with. So a lot of great things that you can do, and I think it's just a good bonding experience for all of you young ladies. And I'm very grateful that you've taken to the game as much as you have. Lily, I know Lily has gone. I think she's probably gone out there working on her game. But Lily and Madeline and Victoria, I want to thank you very much for joining us this morning. You guys did a great job in answering the questions, and I hope you guys continue to have fun the rest of the boot camp. And I'm glad that you were able to join us this morning on the Women of Golf Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. You guys have fun. All right, Cindy, we just got a little bit of time left that you and I can kind of finish up the conversation. Thank you for letting the girls join in. I think it was fun. It was very interesting to hear them and some of their answers, and they definitely do have some great insight to the game already at such a young age.
Yes, they do. They're committed, dedicated, and serious.
Now, of the three, let's go with, again, Lily, Madeline, and Victoria, because you've obviously had a chance to work with them and talk with them. Talk about Lily first. What are some of her, discussions that you've had with her, some goals and that? Is she looking to get into more competitive down the road? What are her thoughts?
Yes, definitely. She's going to start playing in tournaments this summer. She's a member at a local country club where they have an international junior tournament. And I've been working with her for about a year and a half, and she's really been getting better, and she needs to learn to trust her swing, which has really improved, but every once in a while those demons appear. So
yeah,
she defeated a few yesterday, but we need to still work on it. She's going to start playing in Western New York PGA Junior tournaments this summer. And she's afraid, but, the cool part is that I asked the other kids, your age doesn't matter. When you start, you just want to get better yourself. And there's three of the girls that haven't played in any tournaments, and I asked the other girls, how scary is it to carry your own bag and play in a tournament and count your score? And they all said, yeah, it's really scary, but it's really worth it, so.
Right. And what about Madeline? What's in Madeline's case, what's from some of the discussions you've had with her, what does she want to do with her game? Is she looking to maybe play competitively a little bit more?
She wants to play D1 golf for sure. She has really improved. I've been working with her for about a year. She kills the ball. We've written to we've only written to one school, and that Boston University is where her number one choice is. She's a junior right now. And that coach wrote back within a couple hours, which is amazing, because a lot of times you write letters to coaches and they never answer. But this coach wrote back right away. They're going on a school visit. She's got great grades. So I would give, people advice of you need to definitely make sure that you've got good grades. Life is competitive, and there's a lot of kids, and you might be a small fish in a big pond. So the more you work on yourself, the better.
Yeah, that's well said, Cindy. I mean, you want to make sure, when you're competing against so many other juniors, many who have great grades and maybe even great abilities as well, you've got to find a way to stand out. And the only way to do that is to sort of fire up those competitive juices and get out there and really work at it. And I think if you work hard at it, dedicate yourself to whatever it is that you have a passion about, and in this case, golf, you can take it very, very far, as you can attest to yourself. I mean, you've had many of those dreams and aspirations yourself along the way, and you know what it takes to get there. And it's a continual journey. It's not just, I work hard for a month or two and then, it's smooth sailing. It's a continual lifelong journey. And lastly, what about Victoria? Again, some of your discussions with her, what are her thoughts about her future? Is she looking to play competitive as well?
Yes, she is. She really wants to play. In fact, she's qualified to go to sectionals, and she's only in 8th grade. So she and Sophia, who wasn't on the call, have both qualified as 8th graders to go to sectionals for the New York State High School Girls Golf Championship, which is really pretty cool. So they both want to play competitive golf, and they have both improved so much. I mean, that's the thing. I think they now have worked with us long enough to see where they started and where they are now. And at first, you know, they have a hard time believing that it's possible. And now they know the work they've put in. And, you know, when they set a goal and they really work towards it, they feel so good about themselves because they've really, really, really improved. Which is, you know, there's endless possibilities depending on how bad you want it.
Yeah. Cindy, I want to ask you a question that I asked of the three young ladies that joined us this morning, and that is, you know, they're going to hit some bad shots. They're going to have some difficult struggles with the mental side of their game out there, and they've got to find ways to sort of dig deep and motivate themselves throughout the round. What do you do as their coach and instructor and teacher? What do you do to really work with them in that area? Because it's not always easy. I'm sure there's some days they come out on the lesson tee or even through the boot camps and they say, Cindy, I just don't know what's going on here, and it's just really a tough day in that. What do you do to help to keep them motivated? What do you say to them?
Well, the number one thing is, where did the ball go? So the ball is the evidence of what you've done with the ball. So when they first hit a bad shot, I say to them, okay, where did the ball go? And, you know, if it's low and right, okay, so we came out of it, right? That's why it went crooked or low. And then we probably pulled with our left arm and we didn't slap. So we back it up from where the ball went, because what we try to convey to them is the only one that's touching the club is you, and the ball goes where the face points, and you're the one that's controlling the face. So it's all about personal accountability and responsibility, and that's number one. So they can get mad. I give them, you know, like 3 seconds to get ticked off. You can react, and then you have to respond, and then you have to recover. So you can react and get mad, and then you have to respond and say, okay, where'd the ball go? Did I feel that? Do I know why? Maybe you weren't even comfortable standing over the ball. Well, if you're not comfortable, don't swing. You know what I mean? So there's all kinds of ways to problem solve. And the other thing is, don't swing if you're not ready. You know, if you're not comfortable and you're not ready, don't hit a shot. That's why we're practicing. Needless to say, if you're playing, you've got to hit the shot. But they can whine and pout for a little bit, but that'll only take so much, because I like to whine and pout too. I wish it was somebody else's fault when a shot goes awry, but it's not. I try to blame Alan, but he doesn't let me do it.
Yeah, I'm sure Alan's had a few earfuls over the years when things don't go well, but you know, that's part of the game, and I give him kudos for having the strength, because it's not always easy, and I'm sure he's had moments in his game too where, you know, when he wasn't at his best, it's difficult sometimes to pull yourself up. But Cindy, you know, you're doing a fantastic job with all of the juniors here, and I'm only sorry we didn't have an opportunity to talk to some of the others, but I'm glad that they were out on the putting green and working on that. Now, is this the last day of the boot camp, or how many days is the boot camp, first off?
So the junior camp is 3 days, the adult camp is 4. So we do 3 full days with the kids, and any more than that becomes a little overbearing on them.
Right.
I think they get exhausted.
Right. Now, they obviously, because their parents are there, they have an opportunity, you know, at the end of the day to go and kind of have some family time and things like that, which is important to sort of decompress from the day, because you don't want to burn them out either, because you're obviously, you know, working with them for a long time each and every day that they're there, so they have to have some family time. So what do you do to try to wind them down at the end of the 3 days? Is there anything special? You mentioned something about some awards and things like that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're going to have a team dinner tonight. We go to the Ale House in Orlando, and it's like a sports bar restaurant, and it's really cool and laid back, and they have great food, and we can get high top tables, and we bring in all the prizes, and then everybody gets to choose what they want. So needless to say, everybody gets a prize, and you know, we have most improved, we have, you know, least putts, fairways hit, all kinds of stuff. We just try to make it fun. And then the parents come to the dinner as well, and like one of the little girls, it's their spring, or there's a February break, and they have this week off.
Right.
So they have 3 children. They brought the other 2 boys, and they're staying off property in a hotel with a pool and, a lazy river and all kinds of fun stuff. So that's what they're doing while their sister's out here working her brains out.
Well, you know what? Some of us have to work, and some of us get to have a little fun, but it all balances out in the end. Well, Cindy, I know that you've got to get back to the boot camp, and I want to thank you as always. I enjoy having you as part of the show. I think you do a great job. You contribute so much, and I know you and Alan do a fantastic job at the boot camps. And so as you wind down this one, I know that you're thinking ahead for your next boot camp, which I believe is an adult boot camp. Very quickly, let the folks know when that's coming up.
It starts Thursday, and it's Orange County as well. And then there's another one in April that's at Orange County, April 18th to the 21st. That one's only a 3-day camp. So if anybody's interested in doing a boot camp, email me at cindy@cindymillergolf.com.
Right. Now, is that the one up in April, is that an adult one as well, or?
It is. We only do one junior camp a year, and it's always during this week off they have at school.
Right. Okay. Well, Cindy, listen, I'm going to let you go back as I wind things up here. I'm going to let you go back because I know you've got some work to do on your last day and help some of the young juniors. And thank you very much for bringing them on this morning. And please thank Lily, Madeline, and Victoria for me again for taking the time out to join us this morning on the Women of Golf.
I will. Thanks, Ted. Have a great day.
All right. We'll talk to you next week. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that's our very own LPGA professional, Cindy Miller, and her and Alan doing a great job down in Orlando at the Orange County National Golf Club with their very highly successful junior boot camp. And as you heard from some of the participants, 3 young ladies that joined us on the call this morning, and I apologize, I know we had a little bit of difficulty in the beginning. It's a little windy on the golf course at times, and obviously some technical issues on their end. Sometimes it's difficult, but we managed to get most of it out as the call went on. But I want to thank again Lily, Victoria, and Madeline for joining us this morning on the Women of Golf show, and obviously Cindy for all of the great work. And thank you to Alan for all of the great work that you do and working alongside your lovely wife Cindy and doing all the great work that you've done over the years. And of course, her husband Alan is a PGA professional and played on the men's tour for many years with some great success, and continues to pass on his knowledge, as does Cindy, with not only juniors but many adults as well. So on that note, we're going to end a few minutes shy of our normal time this morning, but we want to take this opportunity on behalf of Cindy Miller and I. We want to take this opportunity to thank all of our guests this morning, and also all of you, the listeners out there, for faithfully tuning in each and every week here on the Women of Golf show. We certainly have a great amount of pleasure and enjoyment of bringing you some interesting shows each and every week, and we hope that you had a good time this morning listening to some of the young up-and-coming juniors that are going to be hopefully playing not only maybe some high school and college golf, but who knows, maybe some of them will make their way out onto the LPGA Tour in the years to come, and excite us with some great golf. And if not, I know that they're going to have a great amount of enjoyment with the game, and we look forward to and wish them well on their successful journey. So on that note, on behalf of Cindy Miller and I, thank you again for tuning in to the Women of Golf, and I will see you next week, as will Cindy, here on the Women of Golf show. God bless everybody, and have a great week. Bye-bye.